mic'd up helmets and the green dots. How does that help coaches? How does that help players kind of function in games? And how do you think that'll help you guys? And who you want to do that besides Jeff and Justin?
Yeah, we're going through it right now, so we're just experimenting with it. Figuring out who's going to be best utilizing that, and then how we use it. So definitely having some experience helps there, and at the same time with the rules of it cutting off at 15, they're still going to have to involve a lot of communication out there on the field. So I think the key is practicing both mechanics and not going wholesale one way or the other, with the signaling and the communication there.
What pleased you most about maybe the progress from year 1 to 2, and what are some goals that you see improvement from this offseason?
It just the starts with the culture, embracing the culture and really embracing having a growth mindset. So attacking every single day. We're really not focused on the end result, but more so the journey of what it takes to get there. And I really see that out of this group. We've only been 2 practices in, obviously, but the build up to this point of all the running, the lifting, guys wanting to improve, guys wanting to get a head start. Immediately after that Fiesta Bowl victory, these guys, were hungry to go get more and felt like, we really actually didn't accomplish what we wanted to, so it's how do we get there now? So just living every day in the process of how we can improve every day. Trying to master situational training. That's been a big emphasis in this off season, and trying to apply that to spring ball now.
A couple of veteran guys that came back for this year when they probably could have made the leap. What does that kind of say about the mentality of this team and how you've seen that, have an impact this spring early on?
Yeah, I mean, we're thankful for the guys that wanted to come back. I think both improve their stock as well as improve our team. So I think it's a win-win there, and that's our goal is, can we collectively provide them a bunch of improvement as well as for their sake individually too, so they could be like a bunch of these guys that are visiting today and did a great job at the combine and the pro day. And that's our job as coaches is to improve them and develop them. And that's what our goal is every day. So some of these guys that are returning, a lot of them we feel like it was the right decision, and like I said, we can improve both individually and collectively as a team because of them.
When you're going from the oldest and most experienced into your defensive line, and you're losing a lot of those guys, the youth movement, a part of it. What was some of those point of attack tapes that you had for a group that's more than a half a dozen first or second year interior guys?
Yeah, so they really focus on just one thing. That's the goal. And so instead of targeting, 4, 5, 6 things that certainly we could all improve on, attacking one thing in the off season and then being able to try to apply that in spring ball. And then if we feel like we've got there before, then we can add the next. But if we didn't, then we'll reset and continue that process of the POA tape. So every individual was given that one thing, and it's a really cool tape that myself and our staff jumps into where we watch the whole self-scout, and while we're watching the self-scout to improve from a schematic standpoint, technique standpoint, we're tagging clips from an individual standpoint. And once you find 3, 4, 5 things, if you feel like you can establish a pattern of some guys like, man, we can really get this individual better at this, that's how those tapes get created. And then it's about sitting down with them and having that one-on-one meeting with them of showing some clips that certainly can improve, and then also showing some clips where he's doing really well at that category, to know that it's there and we got to fine tune it. So that's the goal of those tapes. I think they've been really effective, and it'll be more so exciting when we get these pads on to see them really go to work.
His sacks and pass rush picked up, Havoc Break as a whole picked up a lot this past season. Mm-hmm. Players were responsible for a little more than half of that in terms of pass rush gone. It's not just front seven guys. So
right.
How do you go about identifying the new shot callers and where that pass rush is going to come from here during the course of spring?
Yeah, I think, I would imagine almost every defensive staff out there uses the cliche saying of utilizing your personnel. And then, we want to take ownership of truly living that. So, we feel like we had a great weapon in Evan Williams. And so how many different ways could we move him around? He had the intelligence level to handle that. He lined up at corner, he lined it up at boundary safety, he lined it up at star, he lined it up at field safety. So being able to put him in advantageous positions on the field and bring him in different ways. And that was really effective for us. And also it all started with him. So again, that's part of the self-scout is where do we feel like we can be most effective? And then we're going to call it accordingly based off of that.
What does Jamari Caldwell bring to this program, and what made you guys feel like he was a good fit for this scheme?
Yeah, excited to have him. He's definitely a size-speed combo individual that can be effective, both rushing the passer and stopping the run. So great addition for us. For him, it's about attacking the details, obviously getting the scheme down, and he'll certainly instill more and more confidence, in himself as he does that. But that's a guy he's got a versatile skill set. At the University of Houston, he lined up on the edge. He lined up as a 4, a 3, a nose, and certainly something that's appealing both to us and the NFL. So excited to have him.
With the amount of depth that you guys have and more coming in the secondary, Tosh, you haven't done as much true dime in 6 and 7 DBs and stuff like that. Is that something is that a door that might be open to you now with the amount of depth you have there now?
Yeah, it's a great thought. It's something, again, all based off of our personnel. So, it's our job to get the best 11 out on the field. But that certainly could be something in our future. It's always been a part of our package. Though you didn't see it on the field, we still repped it here. So it's certainly a part of our installation process. And, it certainly could be. It's all about what we feel like is the best 11 out there, and we're going to utilize their skill set.
Guys cross-train a lot of spots. Dante Manning has always been a corner, but because of his physicality, because of the depth, there's a lot of experience in corner you have. A little bit less so at safety. Is there any thought of putting him at deep safety a little bit here in the spring to see what he might be able to offer?
We love dual training individuals, so I would never say that's not an option. But when we do, I would more so see him at corner in our star position. Our star is certainly a versatile guy that's going to have to man match. He's going to have to set the edge versus the run, and we're going to bring him in pressures as well. So Dante, checks those boxes off as an option for that. So. Typically we're gonna dual train our corners with our stars, and then we'll pick a handful of guys as far as safeties and stars as well.
What impressed you most about the outside linebackers, not the younger players, and maybe what stood out from the true freshman group that played this last year?
Yeah, it's a group. Starts with just extremely strong character. Really proud of that, of the way they represent our organization, both on and off the field, and I think. Within that character, it's a bunch of guys that want to get better. They improve. They're constantly pushing each other. So I love being in that room and seeing how those guys push each other, motivate each other, pick each other up when needed, and kind of demand a lot, really, and Coach Cam Aragi has done an awesome job with those guys as well, putting them in positions of success. And now we want to take it to the next level. There's a bunch of guys, Tatum Tuioti, Mateo, Blake Purchase, that got some action and made some big time plays for our defense last year. Taking that to the next step is our goal. And then there's, individuals in there that they're here for a reason. Jaden Moore, Elijah Rushing, Ashton Porter, and then of course who we feel like is a rock and a leader of the room, and Amarian Winston. So, it's a group that we're excited about, and then we've also brought in Jackson Jones that is an individual that's like can play inside, can play outside like he did in his high school film. He's coming off of an injury, so we haven't seen him get the action yet, but it's a talented room, but it's a competitive room most importantly.
Last one.
With the change of conference, obviously you'll see some different styles of offense this year. How has that sort of changed your spring plan? Is there any different emphasis you're putting on the defense this year?
Well, we've traditionally always picked out a couple opponents that we'll do some early preparation for, and so we've already started that process. First and foremost, we're going to attack us. That's what's most important in improving us. And if we feel like there's merit, more so like towards the last week of spring, we'll sprinkle in some preparation for some of those opponents that you're referring to, and that's mainly based off of there's some stuff that are that's a little different than we've seen in the past, but we feel like we've put ourselves in the position to be successful by our talent acquisition and how we've developed over the last 2 seasons. And so, when we walk down the tunnel, I think we look a little different than most of the West Coast teams that we play. And when you look at our trenches and you look at our mass and our size, so hopefully that'll carry over to that conference where that's traditionally, a higher average of bigger men in the trenches, but there's only one way to find out, and that's play it.